Friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Peggy. I make videos about homemaking, homeschooling, and family discipleship, all to the glory of Christ. Thanks for joining me today. I'm in the middle of a pantry challenge right now, so that's what my weekly video has been about. This week, we're in week 3. It was a really busy week. We had a lot of very repetitive meals, so I'm just showing you a few of the meals from this week to give you some inspiration to help you use up what's in your pantry. So far, I've been doing pretty well. I have gotten about $100 or $150 worth of groceries per week, and that has actually been pretty fine. I've been using that up. It's mostly like fresh produce and our raw milk order, and sometimes a couple other things I'll throw in there. I did get some butter recently, which I figured I was gonna need to get, so I'll be stocking up on that a lot more in this coming year. Since I have a little bit of butter again, I decided to make some biscuits on this morning. I have a really great recipe for biscuits, and I will link that in the description in case you want to check that out. This is something I usually make at least once a week for my family, either as breakfast or as the bread part of a dinner. So it's something that's really quick and easy for me to make. And I recently also tried making them with bacon fat instead of butter, and that actually worked out really well too. It did change the texture a little bit, but they were still delicious. And I knew that was something you could do, but just trying that out was another fun thing that I did during the pantry challenge. So it was really interesting to just try making biscuits with a different fat. So that was fun and it worked out. Again, I will link the video where I show you how to make these. So tonight we're gonna have kind of a beef kofta style meatball. So I'm gonna make a bunch of meatballs with those kinds of seasonings. It won't be perfectly authentic or anything, but it'll be close, or kind of similar. And then I'm going to serve it with some naan bread and some hummus and some salad, some fresh cucumbers and tomatoes that I got at the grocery store when I bought some fresh produce the other day. And we'll have little naan witches, and that'll be supper tonight. So this is about 1.3 pounds of ground beef. I've got some cut up white onion, some garlic, some salt and pepper. I put in some paprika, some allspice, some coriander, some cumin, some cardamom, and a little bit of Italian seasoning because I didn't have just parsley. So that's serving as my parsley. And I'm just gonna mix all this up with my hands and stick it in the fridge and let it sit until I'm ready to make my kofta style sort of meatballs. I was gonna grill these, but instead I just put them in the oven. The oven was already hot for this bread, so I opted to just go ahead and bake them instead of grilling them, but I still put them in the traditional kofta shape. A little short on time this afternoon, so that's why I opted to go ahead and bake them instead of grilling them. And I wanted to make some hummus to go with it, so I'm gonna do that really fast and try to get dinner on the table by 6 o'clock. For my honey garlic hummus here, I'm gonna do 1 can of chickpeas, some tahini, some garlic, honey, some lemon juice, and a little bit of the zest. Coriander, a lot of recipes call for cumin, but I'm gonna opt to do coriander instead, and a little bit of olive oil. So this was our non-witches and kofta meatball style dinner. I love this kind of food, kind of Greek, Mediterranean, Middle Eastern type of food. It's just so delicious. So this was a really great dinner and a good way to use ground beef. So for tonight's pantry challenge supper, I have some folks coming over from church, so all of that pulled pork that I had in the freezer that was just from recently, I'm putting a bunch of that into the crock pot to warm up, and I'll add some sauce to it, and we'll have easy pulled pork sandwiches. They have a pretty large family too, so there's plenty of pork, so that's the perfect thing that will feed all of us. And then I'll make a few sides too, and I have to still think about and decide what those will be. But this is the perfect use for all this pork, so this worked out perfectly. So for my sides tonight, this is what I decided. Some collard greens, which I had in the freezer, so I'll get those going, and some squash and onions, some pickles, and then some potatoes that I'll cut up and fry in some beef tallow. So these will be the sides to go with our pulled pork sandwiches. I was thinking of doing macaroni and cheese, but I didn't have any elbow macaroni or anything like that. I only have some chickpea pasta, and you know, it's a little different than normal pasta, so I didn't want to serve that tonight, but I think all of this will be really good, and that will be our supper tonight. So I'm just getting the pork into the crock pot here, and I'm gonna turn it on and let it warm up and just add some sauce to it. So I did not get a clip of that finished dinner, but it turned out really good. We had a great time with a family from church hosting them, so it was a good time. And I'll show you what we made the rest of this week, which included some homemade bread. So tonight it's gonna be pizza night. I've already got my dough made here that I made up earlier. I'm gonna cut up this shallot and this bell pepper and some summer sausage instead of pepperoni. And then I've got a jar of marinara, and then I have some mozzarella cheese to shred, and we've got pizza night. All right, today I am making dinner for another family in addition to our family. So I've got the rest of the brown rice that I had here boiling. I only had 2 cups of brown rice left, so that's gonna go to the other family. They need whole grains and stuff for their diet, so they'll have that. And then I'm cooking up some peppers and onions here. And then I'm gonna grill a pork tenderloin and put some black beans with that, some sweet potatoes, and some avocado, and we'll have little grain bowls. So that's the plan for them. And then I'm hoping that there will be enough for our family also. I'm cooking a lot of it. So this family has 3 small children, so I think it'll work out to split it between the 2 families. That should be plenty. If it's cutting it close, then I'll give everything to them and figure out something else for us, but still just using what we've got here. And now I'm out of peppers, so that will go on my grocery list for my small bit of groceries that I'm allowing myself each week. So that'll go on there. I'm also out of potatoes now, so that will go on there. And I'll find a few other things to go on that list too, I'm sure. So this is all the rice I have left in this 3-gallon bucket. There's not a ton. Just kind of show you what this bucket looks like. Not a ton of rice, so I'll have to find some other things to do. I do have some quinoa still, so certainly I'm gonna run out of rice for the pantry challenge, and that's okay. We will eat quinoa, and then I'll know to stock up more on rice. I added some cooked sweet potatoes also for the grain bowls, and it ended up working out that there was enough for our family and for the other family. So that's what we had on this night, and used up some more ingredients. Good morning. So this morning I'm working on some loaves of bread, sandwich bread for the rest of this week, and then I've got a breakfast casserole with some leftover bacon, a leftover shallot, some leftover pan-fried potatoes, and some cheese. I'm gonna get my eggs in here. Our chickens are currently laying, really awesome. So we're gonna get some of those in here. We'll be able to have plenty of egg type dishes for the pantry challenge. So my oven is ready. And when my bread is finished rising, that'll go in. And I'm gonna get this breakfast casserole in also. So tonight we're gonna have some black beans cooked in some bone broth with some onions and garlic and probably a little bit of bay. And we're gonna have that, I'm gonna put those in the Instant Pot, and we're gonna have it with some leftover pork and some leftover greens. And I'll probably make a little bit of rice, and that's how we're gonna bring those leftovers back to life for tonight. I hope this gave you just a little bit of inspiration today. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for being here, for liking, for subscribing. It really means so much to me. I'll see you next time.